All right, and now over to exercise 6. This one has a few more things, so this one starts to look a bit like a serious class. What do we have? We need to create a high school class that has this, that's the same as school, but has a couple of extra things. Consider student application, which will take a student, check that the age is more than 12. If it is, accept them. Show all students, that prints all of their names. Good. After we've created that class, we'll need to create a happy high school and name it that. And then have them consider, not accept, consider these 3 students. And yep, that seems to be all. Cool, so let us begin. As usual, I will begin with the scaffolding, but this time we already have it, so I'll take our advice and go copy paste what we've already written. That was here. Great, now it's not a school anymore, it's a high school. What else? The name and the student stuff, that's still the same, except students, that's still the same. But we have a couple of other things. We have consider student application. Student application. Self, of course. It will have more methods, more arguments, but I'll deal with that in a bit. And show all students. Show all students. At least self and pass. Good. So we got this far. So what is consider student application? Consider student application takes a student, checks that the age is more than 12, and if so, uses the accept student method. Brilliant. So check the age, if good, accepts. I told you you're going to look at me make spelling mistakes. The student. Brilliant. So checking the age, that's easy enough. Student has age, so if student dot age is bigger, is it equal or? Yeah, equal or. Then 12. Then what do? Then we accept student. Now remember how to use one method from another, so we don't write accept student because we'll have no idea what this is, because all that it knows is high school.accept student, and therefore self.accept student. Then what does accept student need? It needs the student. Cool. So this seems all right. Consider student application. If the age is bigger than 12 or equal, then accept the student. It's not really required, but I might as well put some print statements here. Accepted the student, and then student.name. This is just for me to know that what is happening. It's not really necessary. Just put a quick else statement here. Rejected. Student name. Again, this is optional. It's just useful to have. Now let's think about show all students. So show all students is supposed to loop over the students that have been accepted and print their names. The students that have been accepted are in this list, right? So we will want to loop over this. For student in self.students, then what we do, we print their name. Print student.name. I'll do something a tiny bit more interesting and say student in high school. By the way, if you'll probably see that sometimes you see this format and sometimes you'll see this written as something that looks like this. It is pretty much just a, how would this go, format, something. It is literally just a, I think it's this, format student.name. The reason why you see it sometimes written in one way, sometimes in another, is because different versions of Python would do this in a different way. This is objectively better, but I am an old fart and I resist change, so I still use the old version. Feel free to use whichever one you're comfortable with, but remember the other one is slightly better. Anyway, though we're not here to talk about printing, so we're here to talk about showing students. Let's quickly check that this makes sense. We have a high school, it takes a name, takes some students. Accepting students appends to that list, cool. If the student age is bigger than 12, then we will accept the student. Notice that I don't need to do self.students equals anything, so this happens within this method. I've got my little print statements, and show all students loops over the students that exist in the school, so high school students, print student in high school, and the student name. Now you'll notice that I'm obviously not here, very obviously not doing this while looking at the answers, so I will have bugs. In this case, I forgot to put this little thing here. And I'm doing that intentionally because you might feel, but I'm running into so many bugs. That's perfectly normal. That's kind of how it works. And it's probably more important to learn how to debug than each of the specific pieces of material. So we still have to do a bunch of things, but first let's just see if this high school even instantiates. So quick test, high school, name equals test, and nothing else. It's just the only thing we need. Okay, quick test. Seems to be fine. Consider student application. Sam. Rejected Sam. Cool. So now let's go and do the second part, which is to create a happy high school. Name it the happy high school. Happy high school equals high school. Name. Again, I always like to write names so that we know exactly what we're writing there. The happy high school. Cool, so that is there, and now it will consider Min, Maria, and Sam. So for student in Min, Maria, Sam, happy high school dot consider student application, student. Accepted Min, accepted Maria, rejected Sam. Rejected Sam. Let's see if our show all students method worked. Oops, not that. Happy high school dot show all students. Doesn't need any attributes. Student high school Min, student high school Maria. There we are.